Let's say you're kind of newer to a particular industry. How would you advise somebody to kind of approach digging in and asking the right kind of discovery questions to find some of that stuff out?
Yeah, I think that first of all, it's the mindset where you should be focusing on understanding the customer's business. And so, one of the frameworks that I they use, it's a really simple framework. It's called the 3C framework, and it includes customers. Sorry, yeah, it includes the company, customers, and challenges. And what I mean by that is, on the company level, what are the products that this company sells? The customers are like, who do they serve? And then the third thing, the challenges, is like, what are the challenges that that company is going through? And so it's not the challenges like what are the challenges they have like with a feature in your product? It's like, no, like are they launching new products? Are the tariff issues impacting their company right now? And if you pull all those together and you start thinking about it from that perspective, then you start thinking about, okay, so they sell these three products in this particular vertical. They're charging, X amount. They've launched these three products. They're probably going to be thinking about, maybe how I can use our product to help them with these different things. If I'm going to have a renewal discussion and they just laid off like, you know, 10,000 people, well, that might affect my renewal discussion.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, and the third thing is like, what's the terminology that they use within their company? Like, how do they refer to their customers? In the medical field, sometimes they'll refer to them as patients. They might refer to them as guests. And if you use some of that use some of that terminology, then that can give you an advantage because, going back to what you're saying about, strategic, there's a few things. Like one is like, I define customer success as these two pillars. One is a value and the second one is trust. So if you want to drive value, you need to build trust. If you have trust, then you can have a more constructive conversation around value. If you lose trust, then they're not going to listen to you when you're trying to show them how you can achieve value. Knowing those 3 C's and thinking from that perspective, you're going to help kind of build trust. So then when you want to have a more constructive conversation where you're trying to edge your customer to do certain things, they're going to have more trust in you. And then this is kind of where I'd say where AI starts to come in, because then the next step is like, okay, just to your question, like, how do you prepare for these conversations? Well, you can build a prompt and you can literally ask ChatGPT or Claude and just say, hey, I'm meeting with, I am so and so at this organization. This is my role. I'm meeting with this individual. And here's the nature of our conversation. Can you tell me about the company, what's going on in the company, what are the products they sell, and what are some of the challenges that maybe I should be aware of? And it'll obviously will spit something out. Now, the only detriment or caveat is that, you know, the the systems are only as good as probably LinkedIn because it's going to do probably most likely a LinkedIn search,
Hmm.
but that's going to get you in such a great state. And it will usually spit out questions that you can ask as well. And so that's kind of where AI is just all this research, all the stuff that, I used to do. I'd go on Google News and all these other things at LinkedIn. And even in my book, like, I mentioned, like, you should go on LinkedIn and look up the person. You should. But I think AI is actually summarizing all that information much faster and will even like skip that step.